Hi everyone, my name is Dominic Del Tosto, and I'm here today to do my final project presentation. I chose question number 2, which was, if I were to turn my favorite movie into a 2-hour play, what aspects would I change, fix, what scenes would I delete, things like that. The movie I chose was the movie R.E.D. It's Red. It is a movie that is starring Bruce Willis, and it is effectively about a ex-CIA agent who is getting hunted by the CIA for a crime he did not commit, effectively, and he grabs his old team, and that's where the story goes. To start, the stage type that I would like my 2-hour play to be on is a proscenium stage. I chose this because it's a big stage in general. It's got good lighting. There are many actors that can fit on the stage. And it's got defined curtains and a defined audience that is relatively lower than the stage itself. And I just think it's the best possible stage for this play. In Act 1 of the play, Frank Moses, which is Bruce Willis's character, wakes up in the morning, goes out and grabs his mail, and finds a pension check out there. He rips it in half and calls the pension office just so he can talk to this girl he takes good interest in. And her name is Sarah. They call about once a week on average from what it says in the movie. And basically what he does is he rips this check apart just to talk to her. In the middle of the day, he starts decorating his house because his neighbors do. It is the middle of Christmas, so or middle of December, so that's what he's doing. And at night, he wakes up in the middle of the night to make some eggs, and a bunch of assailants break into his house and try and kill him. He has no idea who they are, and he ends up knocking them all out, and effectively killing them and escaping with his life. And that's Act 1. In Act 2, Sarah gets home from a really bad date and goes into her house and grabs a beer, and she hears somebody talking in the back of her house, and it is Frank Moses in the back saying that she has to come with him, and she is very unhappy about that. Effectively, Frank Moses has to kidnap her and put her into his car and explain everything, that he thinks he is being hunted by the CIA, and he is an ex-CIA agent, and because you two talked, and there was a love interest there for Frank Moses that they noticed over the phone, he had to grab you to make sure you were safe. The movie really kicks off right here as it'll switch over to Cooper, which Cooper is the CIA agent that is hunting Frank Moses. And basically, this is where it brings up Cooper looks at Frank Moses' file and realizes that it is tagged as red, which stands for retired, extremely dangerous, and that he is not a analyst that he was told. He is one of the best CIA agents ever devised. But besides that, which all this can be shown on stage pretty easily. It's more, most of this is just commentary. The main things that really can't be shown are like the car chase right at the beginning of the movie, and I'm sure you could do gunshot sounds and stuff like that. They travel to New Orleans to find and meet two of the other um, partners that Frank Moses had when he was in the CIA. They end up finding Marvin, which is kind of an insane dude with an RPG, effectively. And they also meet Joe a little bit later in the movie in Alabama, and they pick him up and they recruit the two to the team. As soon as he has those two guys with him, he ends up trying to infiltrate the CIA. He ends up dressing up as a old military leader, and he goes into the depths of the CIA and finds the file dedicated to him to see what has been blacked out and looked at. And he found this file called the Guatemala file, which basically showed that everybody on the file was being hunted to death or has already been killed. And Frank Moses, Joe, Marvin, Victoria, and Dunnings are the only people left alive on that list. Dunning himself, though, is not one that is blacked out, so they don't think he's being hunted. And that's Act 2. In Act 3, they travel to Victoria's mansion to recruit her, and after realizing the one name not crossed off as Dunning, they end up traveling to Dunning's mansion and interrogating him. He reveals that the vice president is ordering the assassinations of everybody on that Guatemala file because he went insane there and effectively killed a lot of innocents, and he doesn't want that on his record as he goes to become the vice president of the United States. And he's basically using the CIA as his own personal hit squad. As the interrogation is happening, the house does get surrounded by the CIA, and unfortunately Joe walks out of the house pretending to be Frank and gets headshotted by a sniper and is being used as a distraction. He effectively committed suicide for the rest of the squad to escape. Unfortunately, Sarah trips and falls down a snowbank and is captured by the CIA. That's the end of Act 3. In Act 4, when Frank was in the CIA agency's office, he got Cooper's file, which is the guy that is hunting him. They found that out when he ended up seeing Cooper in the actual agency. There is a fight scene there. Frank calls Cooper from his family's house and tells him he's going to kill the VP, and if anything happens to Sarah, he'll kill his family and then him. And then he also leaves the file at his own house. In Act 4, they break into the ball that the VP is holding for his election, and a big fight scene happens, and they end up stealing the Vice President of the United States. And at the end of Act 4, I would have it so that way they arrange a trade Sarah for Stanton. In Act 5, which is the next morning, the CIA agency meets with Frank Moses and the rest of the squad. Dunning is there, and he confesses to ordering the murders because he wanted them all dead so that way his business plans would go correctly. And as soon as he pulls trigger of his gun to shoot Frank, the VP jumps in front of him, and the VP ends up dying, and every single person, including Dunning, gets killed. And that's the end of the movie. The end of the play. And that's it. If I were to change really anything else about this play, it is the fact that there's a lot of car chase scenes, so you'd have to replace them with more dialogue. That's really it.